Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. I stand before you not as someone who has all the answers, but as someone who has learned through life's twists and turns that we all hold a powerful decision in our hands, a decision that shapes who we become and what we achieve. That decision is this: will today be just another one day, or will it be your day one? Life has a way of testing us. It throws challenges at us, sometimes small, sometimes so big they feel like mountains we can't climb. And in those moments, it's easy to say, one day I'll get through this. One day I'll chase my dreams. One day I'll be the person I know I can be. But here's the truth. One day is a promise we make to ourselves that often stays unfulfilled. It's a whisper of hope that keeps us waiting, watching, and wishing. And while hope is beautiful, it's not enough on its own. Hope needs action. Hope needs a starting point. And that starting point? It's day one. Day one is when you stop waiting for the perfect moment and decide that this moment, right here, right now, is perfect enough. It's when you choose to take the first step, even if your legs are trembling. It's when you say, yes, life has knocked me down, but I'm not staying down. Day one isn't about having it all figured out. It's not about being fearless or flawless. It's about courage. The courage to begin, the courage to believe that you are enough just as you are, to start building the life you want. I've learned that the most powerful transformations don't come from grand gestures or overnight miracles. They come from small, deliberate choices. The choice to wake up and try again. The choice to see obstacles as opportunities. The choice to turn pain into purpose. Every time you choose day one, you're telling yourself and the world that your story isn't over, that there's still a chapter to write, a dream to chase. So let me ask you this: what's holding you back from making today your day one? Is it fear, doubt, the weight of yesterday's struggles? I get it. Those things are real, they're heavy, but they don't have to define you. You define you. And you do that by choosing to act, by choosing to live. Imagine where you could be a year from now if you started today. Imagine the strength you'd uncover, the people you'd inspire, the version of yourself you'd meet. It all begins with a single choice: to stop dreaming about one day and start living day one. Because here's the secret. Every great journey, every incredible story, every moment of triumph started with someone deciding that today was the day to begin. So my friends, I challenge you, make today your day one. Take that step, speak that truth, chase that goal. You don't need permission, you don't need perfection. You just need to start. The choice is yours. And it always has been. Will you wait for one day, or will you claim day one? I know what I'd choose. Now it's up to you. Every single one of us stands at a crossroads every day, whether we realize it or not. It's a quiet, invisible moment where we're faced with a decision that seems simple but carries the weight of our entire future. That decision is whether today will be just another one day, or whether it will mark the beginning, your day one. It's a choice that doesn't shout or demand attention, but it's there, whispering to you, asking you to pick a path. Will you let today slip by as a vague promise to yourself, a fleeting thought of one day I'll get to it, or will you claim it as the moment you take control and say, this is where it starts? That's the power of choice, and it's yours to wield. Think about how often we use one day as a shield. It's a comforting phrase, isn't it? One day I'll start that project. One day I'll mend that relationship. One day I'll take a chance on myself. It's a way to keep our dreams alive without ever having to risk anything. It's a safety net that lets us hold on to hope while staying firmly planted where we are. But here's the catch. One day is a mirage. It's a horizon that keeps moving further away the longer you wait for it to come to you. It's a promise that feels good in the moment but rarely delivers because it lacks a deadline, a spark, a push. It's a wish without wings. And while wishes are lovely, they don't build lives. Choices do. Now imagine flipping that script. Imagine waking up and deciding that today isn't just another one day, it's day one. What does that mean? It means you stop waiting for the stars to align or for someone to hand you an opportunity on a silver platter. It means you look at the messy, imperfect reality of right now and say, this is enough. I'm enough. And I'm starting. Day one isn't about having all the answers or a flawless plan. It's not about being ready in some grand cinematic sense. It's about recognizing that the power to change your life doesn't lie in some distant future. It's in your hands today, in this very breath. That choice, that shift from one day to day one is where everything begins. It's the moment you take ownership of your story. Life doesn't always play fair. It can throw curveballs that leave you reeling, questioning everything you thought you knew about yourself. Maybe you faced loss, failure, or a setback that felt like it broke you. And in those moments, one day feels like a lifeline, a way to cope. But day one, that's a rebellion. It's you standing up, dusting yourself off and saying, I'm not done yet. It's the refusal to let circumstances dictate your worth or your potential. It's the realization that you don't need to wait for permission or perfect conditions. You just need to decide. And here's the beauty of it. That choice doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. It can be as quiet as picking up a pen to write the first line of a book, or as simple as stepping outside for a walk when you've been stuck inside your own head. It's not about the size of the action. It's about shift in your mindset. It's about claiming agency over your time, your energy, your dreams. Because when you choose day one, you're not just starting something. You're telling yourself that you're worth the effort, that your goals matter, that your voice deserves to be heard. Hope alone doesn't change anything. It's a seed, not a tree. It's a spark, not a fire. And if you leave it sitting there waiting for the perfect moment to bloom, it stays just that, a flicker, a whisper, a what if. That's why action matters. That's why choosing day one matters, because hope without a starting point is like a bird without wings. It can dream of flying, but it never leaves the ground. We've all been there, haven't we? Telling ourselves that we'll act when the time is right, when we're less tired, less busy, less afraid, when the kids are older, when the bills are paid, when the world feels a little less chaotic. We convince ourselves that waiting is wise, that patience is a virtue, that hope will carry us until the stars align. But life doesn't wait for perfect timing. It keeps moving, with or without us. And while we're holding on to one day, opportunities slip by, dreams gather dust, and that version of ourselves we long to meet stays just out of reach. Hope is the fuel, but action is the engine. You can't get anywhere without turning the key. And day one is that turn. What does it mean to take action over waiting? It's not about leaping off a cliff or upending your life in one grand swoop. It's about breaking the spell of later and stepping into now. It's deciding that today you'll do something, anything, to move toward what matters to you. Maybe it's a phone call you've been putting off, a sketch you've been meaning to draw, a conversation you've been avoiding. It doesn't have to be big, but it has to be real, because every time you choose action, you're telling hope, I believe in you enough to start. You're giving it a place to grow, a chance to become more than just a pretty thought. I've seen how easy it is to get stuck in the waiting game. Life throws curveballs, unexpected challenges, moments of doubt, days when getting out of bed feels like a victory. And in those times, hope is a comfort. It's the voice that says, one day I'll be stronger. One day I'll figure it out. But waiting for that one day can turn into weeks, months, years. I've learned that strength doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing. It comes from the moment you say, I'm not ready, but I'm starting anyway. That's day one. It's messy, it's imperfect, and it's yours. It's the point where you stop letting hope sit idle and start putting it to work. And here's the thing, action doesn't just build momentum, it builds you. Every step you take, no matter how small, proves something to yourself. It proves you're capable, even when you don't feel it. It proves you're resilient, even when you stumble. It proves that hope isn't just a wish, it's a promise you can keep. Waiting keeps you on the sidelines, watching your own life pass by. Action puts you in the game. It's the difference between dreaming of a garden and planting the first seed. One keeps you hoping, the other gets you growing. So don't let hope sit alone. Don't let it linger in the land of one day, waiting for a perfect moment that might never come. Give it legs, give it breath, give it a starting point. Make today your day one, not because everything's lined up, not because you're fearless, but because you're ready to stop waiting and start living. Hope is your ally, but action is your power. Together they can take you anywhere, but only if you begin. Starting something new is terrifying. Let's just admit that up front. The idea of stepping into the unknown, of taking that first shaky step toward a goal or a dream, can make your heart race and your palms sweat. We've all felt it, that knot in your stomach when you think about trying something you've never done before, or picking yourself up after life's knocked you flat. It's so tempting to wait until you feel ready, until the fear fades, until you've got it all figured out. But here's what I've come to realize. Day one isn't about being fearless or having a perfect plan. It's not about waking up one morning with unshakable confidence or a roadmap that guarantees success. No. Day one is about courage. The raw, messy, beautiful courage to begin, even when your legs are trembling and your mind is screaming, what if I fail? Think about the times you've held back. Maybe it was a dream you tucked away because it felt too big, too risky. Maybe it was a change you wanted to make but didn't because you weren't sure you could pull it off. We tell ourselves we need more time, more skills, more certainty. We imagine that courage is this bold, roaring thing, like a lion charging into battle. But real courage, it's quieter than that. It's the voice that whispers, I don't know how this will end, but I'm going to try anyway. It's not the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward despite it. And that's what day one asks of you. Not perfection, not fearlessness, just the willingness to start. Those small steps, they're deceptive. They don't look like much on their own. A phone call made, a note written, a single push-up done. But string them together, and they become a chain of change. It's like planting a seed you can barely see and watching it grow into something that shades your whole world. I've seen it happen. A person decides to write one page, and months later, they're holding a book. Someone takes a walk after months of sitting still, and soon they're running miles. It's not the size of the action that matters. It's the consistency, the choice to keep choosing. Day one isn't a single event. It's a spark that lights a fire. As long as you fan the flames, and here's where it gets powerful, those choices don't just move you forward, they transform you. When you turn pain into purpose, you're not just surviving, you're rewriting your story. That hurt you felt, it becomes fuel. That setback, it becomes a stepping stone. It's not about erasing what happened, it's about using it. Every time you choose to act, you're proving to yourself that you're not defined by what broke you, but by what you build from it. Day one is the moment you stop being a passenger in your life and start steering, even if it's just an inch at a time. It's slow, it's steady, and it's yours. I've watched people wait for the big moment, the promotion, the windfall, the perfect chance, thinking that's when change will come. But waiting for miracles is a gamble that rarely pays off. The real magic is in the small stuff, the stuff you control. You don't need a stage or a spotlight to start transforming your life. You need a decision, a quiet, stubborn resolve to who you want to be. That's day one, not a thunderclap, but a whisper that says, I'm not done yet. And then you do it again tomorrow and the next day until those whispers turn into a roar. So don't underestimate the power of small. Don't think change has to be loud or instant to be real. It's in the choice to begin, however humbly, and to keep going. It's in taking the pieces of your life, the good, the bad, the broken, and shaping them into something new. Day one isn't about overnight miracles. It's about the miracle of persistence, of turning pain into purpose, one small, deliberate step at a time. Start today. Pick one thing, do it, then do it again. That's how you transform, not with a bang, but with a breath, a beat, a beginning that grows. Who are you really? It's a question that can stop you in your tracks, especially when life throws its punches. When you lose something or someone, when plans crumble, when the mirror feels like it's lying to you. It's easy to let those moments define you, to let the weight of what's happened pin you down and tell you your story. We've all felt it, the sting of failure, whispering that you're not enough, the shadow of hardship, convincing you that this is all you ever be. But here's what I've come to see. Obstacles and setbacks don't get to write your ending. They don't hold the pen. You do. Day one is the moment you take it back, the moment you decide that you're not just a product of what's happened to you, but the author of what happens next. It's about redefining yourself, not by what breaks you, but by what you choose to do with the pieces. Life has a way of piling on labels, doesn't it? You're the one who failed, the one who fell, the one who didn't make it. And those labels stick. They sink into your skin until you start believing they're the truth. But they're not. They're just chapters, not the whole book. When you choose day one, you're tearing up that script. It's not about denying what's happened. It's about refusing to let it have the last word. You redefine yourself by acting, by stepping forward, by proving that you're more than the sum of your struggles. It's a quiet rebellion against the idea that you're finished when you're still breathing. That choice to act, it's everything. It's the difference between staying stuck and starting over. Think about it. An obstacle might knock you down, a job loss, a broken heart, a dream that didn't pan out, but it doesn't have to keep you there. Day one is when you decide to get up, even if it's slow, even if it hurts. It's when you turn a rejection into a reason to try harder. Maybe you take a wound and let it teach you empathy. Maybe you use a fall to build a ladder. That's redefining yourself, not as a victim of what went wrong, but as a creator of what comes next. And it's not a one-time thing. Redefining yourself is a process, a series of choices that build on each other. Every time you pick day one, you're adding a layer to who you are. You're not erasing the past. You're growing beyond it. I've seen it in people who've been through the ringer. They don't pretend the scars aren't there, but they wear them as proof of what they've survived, not as chains holding them back. That's the power of action. It's not about rewriting history. It's about writing the future. Each step you take says, I'm still here, and I'm still becoming. What's beautiful about this is that you don't need anyone else's approval to start. You don't need a clean slate or a perfect record. You just need to decide that you are worth the effort, that your story deserves more than a period where a comma could go. Obstacles might shape the terrain, but they don't draw the map. You do. Day one is your chance to chart a new course, to say, this is who I am. It's not about being unbroken. It's about being unstoppable. So If you're feeling defined by what's behind you, by the stumbles, the losses, the should-haves, stop, look at today. This is your day one. You don't have to let yesterday's shadows cast tomorrow's light. Redefine yourself by what you do right now, by the choice to move, to create, to rise. You're not the sum of your setbacks. You're the strength of your next step. Take it, claim it, write it. Because the truth is, you're not done yet, not even close. You're just getting started, and the only one who gets to say who you are is you. Imagine where you could be a year from now. Close your eyes for a second and picture it. Not just the vague outlines, but the details, the way you'd feel, the people around you, the version of yourself you'd see in the mirror. It's a powerful image, isn't it? A life where you've chased what matters, where you've grown into someone stronger, bolder, more alive. Now, open your eyes and look at today. This moment right here is the seed of that future. It's not some distant horizon you'll stumble into by accident. It's something you build starting now. Day one isn't just a catchy phrase. It's a call to seize today, to stop waiting for the right time and make this the time. Because if you don't start, that vision stays a daydream, and you deserve more than that. We're so good at putting things off, aren't we? We tell ourselves the clock will wait, that there's always tomorrow, next week, next year. I'll do it when I'm less busy, we say, or when I've got more money, more energy, more courage. But time doesn't pause. It ticks on, relentless, and every day you delay is a day that vision slips further away. It's about refusing to let another moment pass without claiming it. It's about saying, this is my day one, and meaning it. You don't need permission from anyone. You don't need the stars to align. You just need to decide that today counts. And here's the thing, starting today doesn't mean you have to do it all at once. You don't need to run a marathon or rewrite your life in a single afternoon. It's about one move, one choice, a spark that sets everything else in motion. Maybe it's signing up for that class you've been eyeing. Maybe it's telling someone you love them before it's too late. Maybe it's sitting down to plan the first step of a dream you've shelved. That's day one, a beginning, however small, that ripples outward. Because once you start, you unlock something, momentum, belief, possibility. You inspire yourself, and before you know it, others too. Think about the people you admire, the ones who've done things that leave you in awe. They didn't get there by waiting. They seized a day, a moment, and turned it into their day one. They didn't have a guarantee it would work out. They had a willingness to try. And that's what today offers you, a chance to be that person. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. You don't need to be perfect or prepared. You just need to be present. Every great story starts with someone saying, enough waiting. Why can't that be you? Why can't today be the day you stop watching and start doing? What's holding you back? Fear, doubt, the comfort of routine. I get it. Starting is scary. It's easier to stay where you are, to keep dreaming without risking anything. But comfort doesn't grow you. Action does. Seizing today means stepping into the unknown, yes, but it also means stepping into your power. Imagine a year from now, looking back at this moment, not with regret, but with pride, because you chose to. That's what day one gives you, a shot at a future you're proud of, a future you shaped by showing up today. So don't let this day slip by. Don't let it be another one day that fades into the background. Make it your day one. Take that step, clumsy, uncertain, whatever it is. You don't need anyone to hand you the keys to your life. They're already in your pocket. Use them. Chase that goal. Speak that truth. Start that journey. Because a year from now, you could be standing somewhere incredible, not because luck found you, but because you found yourself right here, right now. Seize today. It's yours to take. And when you do, you'll see. The life you want isn't waiting.